Devil May Cry.
I'm good for whatever you guys need.
I just They're saying there's no audio.
Oh yeah, that's microphone there. 1 2 1 2. Chat, can you hear me? Yes, all good, all good. Let me just. Okay, B, can you?
We're good?
Yeah,
Hello?
I can see you.
Mic check.
Yeah, all good, all good. I'm just gonna make it a bit louder. And we good. Well, welcome, welcome. We had some unscheduled technical difficulties, but we all good. Managed to sort it out. And please, chat, welcome Danielle Burgio. I hope I'm spelling that okay because I've never actually asked.
You're perfect. You got
Yes.
it. People botch it all the time. You did very well.
Ah, thank you very much. Always glad not to botch somebody name or last name. So Danielle, always with us. That's third time that I know of. First we did October with Ruben and some composers. Then you did one interview with Charles. That was mighty kind of you to do it. And obviously that's our third time to help homeless worldwide. And again, you agreed to sign some stuff for us. The parcel's on the way. I hope it's there soon.
I have not received it yet, but as soon as I do, I will get it signed and back out.
Yeah, just let me know, and then we can sort out technicalities about it. And then with us, our brilliant Runby down in the corner, left corner, taking bigger chunk of screen. So let's have fun. Let's have some chats about everything that you do, Danielle. Let's talk about DMC. Let's talk about other stuff that you do. And chat, let's give big applause to Danielle for joining us. Yeah, chat's going crazy now. If you want to start, Brunby, feel free. It's all. You can go.
I just want to say, like, I absolutely love Gloria, so I'm just like really happy to be talking to you right now. But it's nice to meet you. Yeah, I just DMC 4, like when I first played it and she was introduced, I was like the second you see her, I was so happy. Like, just I loved her design, I loved her like attitude, everything. So then just I really wish she was in the game more, and then you find out a reveal later and it just made me like Trish more. So I don't know, it's just you did incredible.
Thank you so much. Well, I love Gloria too, so I'm always happy to be with you guys. I appreciate you having me. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of both Gloria and Trish.
Yeah, no, I think her development between when you first see her in Devil May Cry 1 and then what you did for her in DMC 4, just it, like, to me, in my opinion, just like elevated her into making her a more interesting character. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's definitely fun shoes to get to step into. You know, especially when a character's already been created like that, and you're already stepping into. And I guess that it's that way for anything. I mean, even if it's just been created on the page in the script, you're stepping into someone else's creation, and that's always a lot of fun.
Yeah, I still feel like you made her your own a little bit. Like you did. It wasn't just another version of Trish from 1. It was definitely a unique Trish.
So Danielle, recent. Let's start with the recent stuff because I wanna talk about that. Obviously, Army of the Dead, Soccer Mom. That was like the best. Honestly, that was the best part of the movie, and I watched it I was so heartbroken that it was just that short intro, and there's no more of Soccer Mom later on in the movie. Honestly, we need to sign a petition and send it to Zach, just so he,
Soccer Mom
Please.
spinoff.
yeah, Soccer Mom spin-off.
Please.
Yes.
I
But
can't think of anything I would rather do than get back into those shoes, because Soccer Mom was so fun, and obviously like getting to work with Zach was so amazing. And I mean, I think if you are an actor, if you're anything and you get to work with Zach, you know it's going to be so much fun. But if you're an actor and you get to be on screen in one of his movies, you know he's going to make you look amazing. Um, and it felt amazing when I was shooting it, but it wasn't until I saw it on the screen that I was like, oh my God, look. Well, I look so badass up there. Yeah, that was really, really a dream come true. I've been in the business a really long time, and those moments are, few and far between where you really feel like, wow, I'm super proud to be a part of this one. And even though Soccer Mom only has a couple minutes on screen, I do feel like the way that he designed the sequence and created the character and told that story, and he told so much story in such a short amount of time,
oh yes, oh
and then
yes.
ended it in a really powerful way. And I think a lot of people felt, you know, an emotional reaction to it. And that's, I don't know what it's all about for me to have an impact
Oh yeah,
on
I
people that.
mean, to me, intro like that, it's, I would compare it to a book. So you open a book and you read the intro, the first chapter, and usually that what either puts you off the book, or just completely devours you, and makes you want to read it more and more. And to me, with Army of the Dead, that was it. The intro was so pulling, it was so well made, and then your acting and everything that you did there, it was just like, yes, I want to watch it, I want to watch it, I want to see that Soccer Mom, you know do everything in that movie. And then the scene comes,
And
literally
then,
literally dropped there.
yeah, I mean, Zach is so known for his title sequences. So to get to be a part of, like, the movie in general is amazing, but to get to be a part of his title sequence of all things is great, because I feel like that I'm a huge fan of his anyway. I think his work is brilliant and so artistic, and I love the way that he puts his title sequences together, and they do tell these huge stories in such a short amount of time, and it really is the setup for everything. But it is like, when he was telling me about it, he said it's like it's a mini movie within a movie. It's like
Hmm.
a little movie that then launches the big movie.
Yeah,
Um,
that's kind
and
of
I
how
think
it
that's
felt.
pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So apart from that, apart from Army of the Dead, you did another quite a big movie with, you probably know who I'm gonna mention. Uh, some back then brothers. You were.
Oh, well, there you go. Anybody want to guess?
Yeah,
The two brothers that became two sisters. Yeah. The
exactly.
Wachowskis. I love them. I mean, it's funny because people would always ask me who my favorite directors were, and I would always say the Wachowskis, because they had such a clear vision for what they wanted to bring to screen, and they communicate that so well to their performers. And for me, that's everything. Like when I show up on set, we're all there, whether you're the, the, a grip, or the makeup artist, or the costume, you're in costumes, or you're an actor, or you're a stunt performer, whatever. We're all there to fulfill the director's vision. And so when a director has a very clear vision and can communicate that really well, to me, that's the best. And they don't all do that. You'd be surprised. Like a lot of times you show up and you're like, okay, tell me what you want. And they go, just do it again. And you're like, would you have a note for me? And they're like, nope, just do it again. And these guys are so specific. Um, so I loved that. I loved working with them. And then obviously like their vision is so amazing because I think the whole Matrix trilogy is phenomenal and so beautiful and smart. And then, cut to working with Zach a couple of years ago, which I had been wanting to work with him for so many years. And then I was like, I have a new favorite director. And for the same reason, he's got that same like super clear vision. And the soccer mom character wasn't even in the script. I think there was like one or two sentences. I kept asking for pages when I got there, and I was like, I don't know what to prepare for. Like, how do I
Yeah.
do my backstory? And like, I didn't know if I had dialogue or not. And he had kind of told me about it, but I wasn't sure. And finally, they give me the pages for the script, and it's so top secret. Like, I literally got like a one page, and I thought, okay, I'm on the schedule for like a month, and then the page, it literally was like one sentence. And then I got to set, and all of the department heads were like, yeah, we've been having all these meetings about your character. And I'm like, really? Because it's one sentence on the page. And they were like, no, it just, it lives in Zach's mind. And he had this whole, this whole thing and this whole idea. So then I was like, Zach, what about this? What about that? What so yeah, really, really cool to see that go from someone's head to the screen so beautifully.
Oh yeah, that was amazing. B, off to you.
No, it's just real quick. It just sounds like Zack Snyder was also into like doing a soccer mom spinoff if he like had that much energy into your character.
He does. And I think he probably is that thorough with all of his characters. But yeah, I'm not sure if it was always intended to be that way or if it just sort of grew as it was developing, because yeah, the department heads were like, oh, we're, all of a sudden we're like, okay, let's put all this energy into soccer mom. And again, even though she's only there for a minute, I think they all saw the importance of, like you said, setting up the story. And her journey represents, the foundation for what all the main characters, where they start. Like, you get to see how regular civilian people became these mercenaries through soccer mom's journey, which is pretty cool.
It really does set like a certain amount of like power and energy behind the whole movie. And then it's like, for a moment, I'm just like, okay, soccer mom, that's the character I'm following for the rest of the movie. And then, well, not so much. But yeah. That's why we need a spin-off. We need to know more.
Yeah, Beefs in a chat said we need Soccer Mom and Zombie Elvis spin-off.
Oh, yes. I love Zombie Elvis. I have the funniest story about Zombie Elvis. I had, that was part of, I don't know if it was the trailer or part of the teasers, but I had seen Zombie Elvis several times before the movie even came out. And then they released the first 15 minutes of the movie a week before the full film hit Netflix. So, of course I watched it like a bunch of times. I'd show it to my friends. I watched it a lot of times. And then when the movie came out, I was lucky enough to see it in the theater, and I saw it I actually saw it 4 times on the big screen, but the third time I saw it on the big screen, I'm watching the credits and it says Zombie Elvis, Jess Harbeck. And I'm like, what? Jess is an amazing stunt performer and a friend of mine. And I had no idea that was Jess. And I was like, wow.
No warning.
I just wonder if he didn't say anything on purpose just to mess with you.
Yeah, I hadn't seen her since we were filming. We just, we were on social media and all that, but and again, it was COVID, so I wasn't seeing a whole lot of people. But no, it was funny, and I wasn't there when they had all the makeup and everything going. But I love Zombie Elvis. Soccer Mom and Zombie Elvis, I'm totally in for that.
It sounds like it'd be like half sitcom, half serious.
Exactly.
Oh dear. I feel like we're gonna have really a lot of laughs here, just out of those stories. So let's go slightly more serious, because obviously mainly you are a stunt performer. And we do know that when you do stuff like that, stuff goes bad sometimes. So yes. let's start off with what's your best experience as a stunt performer, and what's the worst one, like injury wise?
Mm. Mm. Um, I mean, the best one, funny enough, for me, the best experiences on set are not about the stunts or the projects or anything. It's about the people, because you're spending so much time day in, day out. And you don't always know when you're working on something great or something terrible, right? You show up, you do your job. And for me, it's about the people. Um, so I have some really fun experiences. Like I worked on Ghosts of Mars, which was like I was with a whole bunch of my friends, and some people don't think this is fun, but we were filming all nights. A lot of people really hate that, but I actually kind of a vampire, so I like it. Um, maybe not one of the best movies I've ever worked on, but like just a great time. So I have a lot of those experiences in terms of the best. In terms of like what I'm the most proud of, getting to be a part of the Matrix, obviously, that was like amazing. I didn't work on the first one, and I was the hugest fan, just like everyone else. I was just at the very beginning of my stunt career. So um, I remember sitting in the theater and watching Trinity on the screen, like everyone else, going, whoa, I want to be her. And then cut to the beginning of my stunt career. I had worked with Chad Stahelski actually on Ghost of Mars, funny enough. And he said, we're doing auditions for The Matrix, and I think you should come in. And he was like, you better start training your butt off. Like, it's no joke. You're going to have to work really hard. And I did. I worked harder towards that than I ever worked towards maybe anything in my life. I trained twice a day, every morning, every night. And the audition was really intimidating and terrifying. I was in the room with some of the best stunt people, and I hadn't been in the business for that long. And so getting that job was huge, to be able to, step into the shoes of Trinity. It was like, oh my gosh. To be honest, my actual on-screen work maybe is not anything I'm the most proud of, because they really use the actors for so much of everything. Like, so much of what you see there is actually Carrie-Anne. And I would help with the training and setting things up. And then, when it came to, getting knocked around, they'd put me in. But just being a part of that, and being a part of something that was so massive. I mean, nowadays they have all these huge, massive blockbusters, like all the Avengers, and, there's tons of massive multi 100, 200, 300 million dollar movies. But back then that was not really a thing.
Yeah,
Not as
Matrix was
much.
like it.
It was the first like really big thing. And I remember, because they were going to shoot Matrix 2 and 3 back to back, and it was like, something like $400 million budget or something like that. It was like huge. This was back in 2000, 2001. So just to be caught up in that wave, no matter how big, no matter how small, like that was incredible, and something that I'm definitely, really, really proud of, and made a huge difference in my career. So that's some of the good stuff. As far as the bad stuff goes, I've been pretty lucky. I have a lot of friends that I've seen take some hard knocks and go to the hospital and have some really scary moments, and fall into comas. And luckily I haven't lost anyone close to me, but that happens, and that's really sad. So I've been really fortunate. I think my worst injury probably was on the Matrix 2. There's the scene where the agent is throwing Trinity around into the wall, and then eventually through a wall, and they were having a hard time getting me to travel through the wall that I get thrown through. My body was supposed to land more like in the middle of the room, but what would happen is my body would hit the drywall, and then I'd clear the drywall, but then I would just kind of drop on the other side of the wall. And they really wanted me to travel. So the rehearsals, they only had 3 walls, so we only had 3 takes. And we did the first 2, and they weren't happy with it. And you don't want to be in the position where like you've just done this big stunt and the Wachowskis are not happy. That's not the place you want to be. So we spent the whole next day. They said, okay, we've got one wall left. So you guys are
Oh
the stunt
no.
team's gonna go work it out and perfect it so that when we roll cameras, we make sure we get it right. And we rehearsed it and rehearsed it and rehearsed it and rehearsed it and rehearsed it a million times, and without the wall in place to make sure. And then finally, here we go. We set up the cameras, and I was on a hand pull. So sometimes they put a harness on you and they'll put a wire on you, or they'll pull you by hand. Other times you're on like a machine. The machine can be scary and that can really hurt. I always prefer a hand pull. So I was on the hand pull with the team, Wu Ping's team from China, and they pulled me so hard. I mean, I think everyone knew, like, we better get her to the other side of that room. And they did. And when I hit the ground, I literally heard my rib snap.
Ooh.
And I was only 2 weeks from finishing the run of the film, and I didn't want anyone to know I was hurt. And so I just went home and I put myself, in a tub of ice and took a ton of ibuprofen and do all the things that I try to do and try to pretend like I was fine. And then a couple days later, they put me in a harness and had to lift me up for one of the shots. And as they lifted me up and all that pressure on my ribs, I think I went white. And I think I like just about passed out. And they were like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I gotta get down." And then I had to go to the hospital. And then I was so bummed. I didn't want anyone to know. But I had the rib was like, not like a stress fracture. It was like fully broken through. And then I had stress fractures all over my other ribs. But honestly, in the world of a stunt woman, that injury is not really, of course the stunt guys were like, "Oh, what? No, you broke a rib,"
Oh.
That's just a Tuesday.
Like, hold up, I didn't even want you to know, Why do you want to know?
I can't believe you tried to tough it out though. Like that sounds so painful. Like I wouldn't even be able to stand, let alone trying to do another stunt with a broken rib.
It's horrible. And actually at the time I had a cold. And so if anyone's ever broken their rib out there, like a broken rib and a cough.
Oh yeah, that's the worst combo.
Mean. It's really mean. So I was coughing a lot. And I was like, "Oh my God, this is awful."
Speaking of injuries, though, like I imagine, because you're working with somebody's safety, like what is the process of going through like a stunt that is really dangerous? Like I imagine you have so much trust in these people.
You do. Yeah, you have to really trust your team, and you also have to really trust your equipment.
True.
And I think you have to be smart enough also to know what you're doing so that you can double check. And I think a lot of the job is always, especially on the easy ones, because it's the easy stunts that usually will bite you in the end, because people get complacent. They're not as diligent about, they're like, "It's fine. I'm just going to run over there and fall down. Like, no big deal."
Right.
Those are the ones that'll kind of get you, because I think you have to really like assess everything and think, I'll usually look at a situation and say, okay, here are like 20 things that could go wrong. So if this happens, what am I going to do? If this happens, what's my exit strategy?
Prepared.
Yeah, you're just prepared. Like, and you're really focused. And I think you have to be really ready to, pivot on a dime if something is going wrong, to just know exactly what you need to do to get yourself out of it as safe as possible. And but also I only like to work with people that I know and I trust. And yeah, I've been very fortunate. I mean, I've had my fair share, don't get me wrong. I have many concussions. I think the worst thing for me is long term, I've had several whiplashes. So as I've gotten older, it's more of the chronic thing. I ended up herniating a disc last January.
Oh.
So that's something that I just kind of live with. And I think that's kind of the life of of a stunt performer. And I'm older now, so I'm not doing stunts really as much anymore. I love the on screen. I like the acting. I like the physical roles and the acting, but the really hard stuff, I'm kind of pretty phased out of that. Again, with a fragile neck, it's not the best idea to be.
You've paid your dues, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, good.
Oh, no wonder, no wonder now you just want to sit down, relax, like we spoke with before we went live. Just sit down, relax. You've done your share. You know, don't have to put so much stress on your body now. Um, but going back to, because we talking about Matrix, we talking about Army of the Dead, stunts and everything. Um, Obviously you did some you know, your experience with stunts came to play when it came to Devil May Cry 4 as well. Um, so obviously working with Ruben, working with Dan, working with Johnny, uh, was there any like fun moments, sad moments, or dangerous
With
moments?
Dan, no, Dan is no fun at all. Those guys, they're boring. No, yeah, Dan actually is a very good friend of mine
Oh
and the
yeah.
whole reason that I'm part of the Devil May Cry franchise. So when I very first got into stunts, before Matrix, before, when I was like really green and starting out, I met Dan, and he and our other friend Mitch Gould, who's a great stunt coordinator and director and writer. They sort of took me under their wing, and they are the ones that really trained me, because I was a dancer and I had picked up a little bit of martial arts, but I mean they're so amazing. So they started training me and took me under their wing, which was amazing, and we became very good friends. And then it was through Dan that I met Ruben, and Ruben was the one that brought me on to Devil May Cry. So I hadn't worked with Johnny until we were working on the game, but I mean, getting to work with your friends, that's the best. And those
Hmm.
guys are a total crack up to be around. I mean, they can be serious, and they're so talented and professional, but also, I don't know if you guys know Dan or if you follow him, he's like a big goofball.
And he likes
So
dropping bombs as well. We know that he likes dropping bombs,
yes, he does.
even when he's not supposed to. I don't know if you've seen that or no. So
Poor
before,
Dan will never live this down.
yeah, no, I'm especially gonna do it because Dan was too busy. Well, it's second time he turned us down. Kinda. Obviously, he was just too busy with his schedule.
Don't you know what? He turns me down too all the time. And he is so busy. Like, I'm like, what? You're so busy now. I can't get a return text. And then I'll realize, like, oh yeah, he's off in like, Bulgaria or
Yes, yes,
something.
yes, yes.
He's off shooting a film right now. Yeah, he's a very busy guy.
Oh
So
yeah, can't imagine.
I don't feel bad. We all get blown off by
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Can't have it all. We have you, and Dan can stay there in Bulgaria where
or
we
wherever you are,
yeah,
Dan.
yeah, we
We
have
miss you, Dan. No, we love you and miss you,
yeah,
Dan.
we have all the fun and you have to work, Dan. But we were talking also with DJ Storm. So
Oh yeah.
you know him as well from Devil May Cry 4. Um,
Another person that I met on the job, and I have mad respect for, and I see him occasionally over the years since then. Super talented and a
oh yes.
sweetheart.
Oh yeah,
What a
yeah.
presence he has, My gosh, beautiful presence.
Yeah. So our experience with Dan is obviously before Devil May Cry 5 was even announced. That was be how many years that was that before?
I think that was 2015
Y-
when the video happened.
yes, yes.
16,
Yeah,
something like that.
somewhere around that.
It was
So
a while.
three to 4 years before Devil May Cry 5 was announced. And during a panel on a convention, Dan just drops the bomb and says, "Oh yeah, now they bringing us back." So we and then everybody just goes, "What?"
And they had to
Oh,
they had to like go back a little bit because they accidentally spoiled that they were working on a
Yes.
game and they weren't supposed to say that.
no, they're so top secret about everything. It's
I
crazy.
bet.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I'm sure he got in big trouble.
oh, yeah.
Well, not too much trouble because he's in the game at least.
Yes.
Exactly.
But going back to you, Danielle, going back to you. Obviously Gloria, obviously Trish. But you do something different as well, apart from acting, apart from stunts, voice acting. You do some crafts.
I do.
I'm
I just
gonna.
can't seem to sit still for very long. I've got to just do too many things. That's me.
I'm exactly the same. Doing everything. Anytime I have some spare time, it's just working on something. But yeah, if you could tell us something about the crafts that you do, the jewelry and everything.
Yes, I'm sitting here right now. I've got, let's see, a pair of little Herkimer diamonds sitting here next to me. I
Oh,
don't know
that's
if you can
gorgeous.
Oh
see them.
wow.
They're so pretty. I love Herkimer diamonds. So I have a bit of an obsession with gemstones and their properties. Let's see, what else do I have sitting here? A piece of danbarite. So I just love them. I'm wearing some citrine here. I've got, what else? I've got this little labradorite here. I've now started designing with a friend of mine who does like real silversmithing, because I don't, but he
Oh,
Oh,
that's
does
that's so
gorgeous.
pretty. Oh wow.
amazing work. His name is Hector at Made in Moon. So I love the properties of crystals, and I love jewelry, and so I like to wear the crystals as much as I can. And then I was spending a fortune on, buying jewelry all the time. And then I also realized like I really I'm really into the high quality stones, and I wanted to make sure what I was buying was high quality. And then I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm spending a fortune. I could make this stuff. So I started sourcing my own stones. I started making my own jewelry just for my own self. And then I had people start to ask me, where did you get it? Would you make it? You should have an Etsy store. So I thought, well, that's easy enough to do. Etsy makes it pretty easy. So I started a little company called Soulshine LA. And yeah, healing, like gemstone jewelry, everything is high quality gems. And now, like I said, I'm moving into this more high end pieces. My ultimate goal, if I can eventually get there, would be to do less pieces and more high end pieces, and then set up a whole company that would just be my charity. So everything will be eventually nonprofit. At this point in time, I don't make any money. I'm just like make enough money to, keep crafting and buying things. Every dollar I get goes back in. But eventually that's what I would love to do. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
that's
like
my fun little
investing.
side project.
Yeah, investing, reinvesting, and then just keeping it rolling. Why I'm asking about crafts, because what you said was exactly my drive as well. I do my own crafts as well, but do them slightly different. So gonna do a bit of advertising for our obviously charity. So
Yes.
I make something like that on
Oh,
my 3D printers. So that's a red orb. There's going to be 15 of them, and whoever donates for homeless worldwide, 5 highest donations gets each get one orb, and then 10 people that we're gonna select in raffle gonna get randomly. The out of the winners of the raffle, there's gonna be another raffle for 10 of these. But yeah, it was exactly like you said. Why? Because we do cosplay as well, and like you've seen, uh, and the drive was exactly the same. Why do I have to buy it from somebody if I can make it myself? And then people ask you, "Oh yeah, could you do something like that for me?" And it just keeps rolling. So it's perfect motivation for others, saying something
yeah,
like
and
that.
creative outlet too. Like I just feel like in my spare time, I just want to keep creating things. So I've gotten a lot into writing and like developing story and all that, but also just having something like hands-on, very tactile.
Hmm.
Um, that's yeah, it's really more therapeutic than everything else. And then yeah, if you can take that and turn it into helping other people down the line, then that's amazing. And I commend you for, doing all this for charity. I think what you're doing is really wonderful. I hope everyone donates and supports. It's really important.
Yes.
It feels good to give back too,
Oh yes.
I think there's something selfish about it in a way,
Hmm.
doing things for others and giving back and donating, whether it's time or money. There's so many ways, even if you don't have money, or you don't realize like $5 makes a difference. $5 to me isn't much, but $5 to somebody in the street, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's
sometimes
a matter of
sharing. Yeah. Sometimes just sharing links and stuff is enough. Like if you can't donate.
Yeah, exactly. Like spreading the word.
There's always a way to help.
So there's always a way to help, and I know for me, whenever I do it, I feel like I almost get more out of it. There's something really fulfilling about being of service. So I encourage everyone to do that.
Up to you, B.
Real quick, I found your Etsy store. Do you mind if I share it in the chat in case some people want to see?
Thank you.
Yeah, shoot.
Okay, there you go. There's Danielle's Etsy link.
And I will say, I mean, if anyone's interested in jewelry and all that, I do have an Instagram page, because a lot of this stuff on the store, like I love doing custom orders. So most of what I do is custom orders, and I always, keep a few items there on the store. But if you see anything like on the Instagram page that you're like, hey, I like that, or I like this with a different stone, or I like this stone, but I want it this way, we can chat. And I love to kind of create something for someone like specific to what they want. That's really gratifying. So.
Casey, sorry, B. Just gonna read out the chat.
Go ahead.
Casey Edwards says it feels great because most of us have received something in time of need and knew what it meant. And then obviously Casey says, please donate. So up to you, B. Sorry for interrupting.
I was gonna say, I really like how a lot of your stages in life seem to be something that you kind of just stumbled upon. It was never planned. Like your jewelry store was just something that you wanted to do, and like even like you said with doing stunt work, like because you did dancing and then you just like sort of started doing stunt work. I like how you're just free and like you just go on like with the flow, and I feel like I feel like you need some sort of that like energy and vibe when you are doing stunts, because if you are trying to like micromanage things too much, like you said before with stunts, some people try to plan everything, and that's usually the ones that are the stunts that go wrong sometimes. I really enjoy your energy and freedom, basically. I'm sorry. I just feel overwhelmed because I'm learning so much about you right now. So it's just like, holy crap.
I appreciate that. I mean, I think one of my biggest lessons in life was learning to say yes and to kind of surrender and go with the flow. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm very much like, I'm very motivated. So I'm very clear about my goals. And then I work very hard towards them, but I also try to be really flexible as to what's showing up. Because sometimes I feel like, whatever you believe in, God, the universe, energy, flow, whatever, it knows better than we do sometimes. And I think, obviously there's things you should say no to when they really feel wrong in your gut, like.
Yeah, always follow your heart.
Don't go home with somebody that you're like, that person is a creep. Say no to that. But like, other things, like if it scares you because of your insecurity, or you think like maybe I can't do that or whatever, like that's something maybe try saying yes to. Because I think for me, the best things that have happened in my life were things that I didn't plan. I never really saw for myself. It was just sort of a push from that force. And I was like kind of scared, but I said, okay, yeah. And stunts was like that. And so I kept thinking to myself, I'm not really the kind of person to jump off of a building. That's not really something that I ever thought I wanted to do. So I'm like standing there at the edge of the roof, looking down, thinking, well, something brought me here, so I'm going to have faith. And obviously I've trusted in the people that have set up the stunt. I've trusted in myself that I know what I'm doing. But also just, it's the whole thing for me has been a lesson in facing my fear. That's what I love the most about stunt work, is for me, there's a lot of fear there. People assume like I don't have any fear, or I have a lot. And being able to like face that and be like, I was brought here for a reason. So let's see.
That's a good outlook. Yeah, I appreciate that. So when you were new to doing stunts, was there anything that you just refused to do because you were scared, or because you faced your fears, did you just like go with it?
Well, I never wanted to do high falls or firework or anything like that,
Okay.
because those are really that's specialty stunts. Like, and those are two of the most dangerous things that you can do in stunts. So there are people that are like, I really want to do a fire burn. So they train for it, they learn about it. Like, I don't personally know why anyone would want to set themselves on fire.
Yeah.
Not me. But I have a lot of friends that do, and they do it very well. So yeah, there were things like that or and times that I said no when I got called for work because I said I don't feel that that's like I'm not the person for you. You know, there are people that on the other side of the coin there are people that will say yes that they are skilled in something when they're not. And I
That's dangerous,
do not
especially in
believe in
stunts.
lying, right? You never
Mm.
ever, if anyone out there is interested in getting into stunts, it's so important that you are 100% honest and accurate about your ability, because it's not just your life on the line. Even when it's a small stunt, you can get hurt. It's other people as well. So that's super important. So there were a lot of things that I did say no to, but yes, I definitely pushed myself way out of my comfort zone, like way, 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 way out of my comfort zone a lot of times. And I'm glad I did. Because at the end
Yeah.
of the day, then I think we all have more strength and power and capability inside of us than we give ourselves credit for. I love to reference the woman who child is trapped under a car and all of a sudden has the strength to lift a car off of her child. That's a real thing. And I think we all have that strength inside of us. And the stunts for me really taught me that. And that's what I like to inspire other people to realize, like, we're all so powerful and we don't
Yeah.
tap into that power. We don't always tap into it, or we don't even give ourselves credit for how capable we really are. So
Was it difficult to discover that line of between going too far or like just escaping your comfort zone?
oh yeah. Just that, the fear and getting hurt too, I mean, I through trial and error, I've experienced a lot of fear and pain, and
Mm.
and I've gotten hurt, and again, nothing too crazy, but
I'm glad you
it's
discovered it
uncomfortable.
sooner rather than later. That's
Exactly.
nice.
Exactly.
We have one question from the chat, and Astral. Yes, we did answer about Matrix already, but Astral would like to know how it was to work on Batman Forever.
Oh, wow. That actually is my very, very, very first stunt ever. And I only worked on
Oh
it for
wow.
one day. Like, I didn't do anything that exciting. There's a scene where Sugar and Spice are in this room. There's like a glass cylinder that it falls, and then we have to scatter. And it's so funny. That was really my first. It's like the Cinderella story. So my friend Keith Campbell was one of the super successful stuntman, and he was one of the ones encouraging me to get into stunts. And he kept going to the stunt coordinator saying, this is Danielle, my friend Danielle. She's, talented physically and all this. Like, can we get her in the movie? And they were like, no. she's new, she's green. I don't have a place for her, whatever, which is, that's totally fair. And then they had this Debbie Mazar, who played Spice, wore this leather corset, and it was handmade, and there was only one. And Debbie Mazar was tiny. She was like a particular size. So they were having a really hard time. They couldn't find anyone to fit into the corset. So, and then Keith kept going to the stunt coordinator, Conrad, and saying, what about Danielle? So he was like, all right, bring her in. If she can fit in the corset, then she's got the job. And luckily it was literally like I just had to run as this thing was crashing. But, I mean, you still have to hit marks and make sure you're not going to freak out and all these things. So that was it. It was like the Cinderella shoe. The corset fit me. I got my first stunt job. It was amazing. And I loved it. It was so good. And, and then getting to be part of such an iconic film and cast, like, I have photos somewhere of me with Batman. and
Yeah,
the
that is so
Riddler.
awesome.
But it's really cool. Really cool.
I unironically love Batman Forever, so and that's I'm so happy you worked on it. That's so cool. And like meeting
Yeah.
meeting Batman, like if I like even if it's just obviously an actor, like standing next to Batman, like that's I
Yeah.
feel like that's a big deal for a lot of people.
It's a big deal, especially, when he's all in the suit and
Yeah.
everything. You're like, oh my gosh.
And
When
then
you're
he
a kid,
says,
all
"I'm
you want to do is
Batman."
meet Batman, and then you do.
There's another question from a chat. I'm just gonna quickly read it out. If you had a chance to give advice to your past self when you just started stunt career, what would it be?
I mean, probably
Loaded
so
question.
many. Yeah, exactly. um,
Oh, that's a tough one.
Gosh. Yeah, you stumped me. I have a lot of advice I'd give to my younger self in general, but just around stunts, I think just, what I learned the hard way over the years, I would have just learned quicker. And that was like trusting myself, trusting my capability, not doubting myself so much and being so scared of so many things. Um, I guess just to like really embrace the journey.
Yeah, that's so awesome, really. Okay, so
And
let's
the
go.
power of an ice
Oh.
pack, bring lots of ice packs everywhere you go.
Get an
Yeah,
ice bath ready.
Exactly.
especially if you bust some ribs. But yeah, Charles, our mutual friend, just said maybe that side is the answer, to take a breath and go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, we just talking about movies, and obviously we're here to celebrate 20 years of Devil May Cry. So let's go back to the subject of Devil May Cry, and because obviously you did the mocap. So how was it to do all the crazy stuff that Gloria did, all the crazy moves, and then at the same time do the voice acting for both Gloria and Trish?
It's so much fun. Um, yeah, and it's nice because, when you're doing mocap, you're just focused on mocap. And then when you're doing the voice, you're just focused on the voice. So it's so nice working in animation that way because, obviously when you're on screen on a regular live action, you've got to do everything all at once. And I love working on mocap because you can like separate the elements and really focus. And then also because, you're working in the volume, you're working with the computers. It's amazing because you don't have to be like, 100 feet in the air. You could be like 2 feet off the ground and they can make it look like you're 100 feet in the air. So that's really cool. But like working with the team, they were so talented and those guys had set up all the choreography. So it's great because they work it all out and then they just kind of plug you in. So kind of feel a little bit more like on a film. That's what we do for like the big actors, the stars, right? The stunt team works it all out and then the actor comes in and just gets plugged in. And not that it's not hard work, it's still hard work, but it's already been set up for you. So it was kind of like that for me. They already had the choreography set and then they would teach it to me and then, make it adjustments as we went along. And because it's mocap, you can kind of take it little bits at a time. You don't have to perform the entire sequence. Sometimes we would run the entire sequence, but then if they want to just pick up this one little bit, it's so forgiving with the computers and everything. So, it's kind of a dream, except for you got to really check your ego at the door because you look like a fool in the suit. I think nowadays this was a lot of years ago. I don't know how many years ago we filmed Devil May Cry 4. It was a lot of years ago, so I know now
that
the
was
technology is way better.
2003, 2004, somewhere around
Yeah.
that time. Yeah.
It was a long time ago. So now I think like things are a little more streamlined, maybe not so clunky. But yeah, it's not glamorous. You look really silly. I did anyway. In my in the cap with the little balls all over you, and you're like spandex suits running around. So that's kind of fun. And again, you'll check your ego at the door and like just go in there and be silly and have a good time.
So because you're like in a ridiculous mocap costume and Gloria does a bunch of ridiculous stunts, is there ever a particular moment where you felt like, what am I doing?
Yeah, all the time. Pretty much all the time. No, I think like you get in the zone. You kind of like you have a chuckle after you put the suit on, and especially Dan's standing up there. I chuckle at him and he'll chuckle back at me. Or, but then when you're in it and you're actually doing the work, you're very focused, and you are just in this. You've got like green screen around you. You've got like all these cameras around you, and then just like big mats and big soft boxes and just these sort of like basic block things that are serving as set pieces or whatever it is. So you really have to use your imagination. I feel like you've got to be really focused to really be in it and use your imagination. Because even though it is animated, I feel like when you're performing, that energy comes through, right? So you still have to bring all that acting and all that to it. And so there comes a time where you have to get very focused and let your imagination be really strong to be able to sell what's happening on the screen.
Yeah, just seeing like behind the scene footage of mocap scenes where, like you said, everything's just like mats and stuff. It does seem like you have to use your imagination, like actually pretend that you're there, like on a street or something. So I imagine going over that hurdle is a little difficult at first, but you nailed it.
I find it challenging. Yeah, I actually find green screen work really challenging for that. They both, live action and mocap, they have their different challenges for different reasons. Like it is great that I can just focus on the movement here and then go into the sound booth to just focus on the voice. But yeah, when you're on a set and you actually see, like, when I was on Army and I actually turn and like they're like literal zombies coming at you, then you don't have to imagine it. It can be scary. They look pretty gruesome.
The acting does itself.
Exactly. Versus, when I was doing Devil May Cry and everything was literally had to come from my mind. It's a different kind of challenge.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine.
But fun.
We have 2 more questions in the chat. First question is, was the flexibility of Gloria all you, or was that part of the setup and then part of the graphic team?
I am extremely flexible. That is one of my superpowers, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they enhanced it or not. They probably did, but I am actually.
Wow.
After being a dancer for so long, I think that's definitely one of my strengths is my flexibility.
Okay.
But I'm sure that they manipulated it at some,
Yeah, because there's some crazy splits there.
Yeah, and even the way, like, when she back bends like that, I don't think my back doesn't go back that
far. Yeah, that was crazy.
They enhanced a lot of things. I have a lot of bits of me that are
oh yes, that was particularly
enhanced. So there's all kinds of enhancements going on.
Yeah, Gloria was certainly enhanced pretty well.
Those long legs and that like itty bitty waist, yeah.
And the other question is, if ever there was a separate game just for Trish, and you had a chance to go at it to portray Trish again, how do you imagine it? What would you like the game to be about? I
mean, Trish is just I feel like Trish, she just takes no prisoners. So yeah, I just see her annihilating everyone around her. I mean, just
I'd be down with that.
yeah. I would love to get to step into Trish again. She's so much fun.
Capcom,
And
please
so
listen.
different than Gloria. Yeah, let's get back into Trish. Yeah, I don't know. I would actually like to throw that question to the fans to know what you would like to see from Trish.
Mm,
People have been dying for a Trish game. Well, Lady and Trish game, so
yes.
Yeah.
So definitely. And
the interest is there. Come on, Capcom.
Come on, Capcom.
Let's
Capcom,
go.
do it. Capcom, do it. We actually,
Please.
we actually fortunate enough to have Capcom supporting us. So fingers crossed, somebody's from Capcom watching it. So maybe something's gonna happen there. But yeah, Charles says he'd rather have Gloria game.
Yeah, I actually hear that a lot, and I'm glad that people love Gloria so much. That's awesome.
That's why I think you've seen the posters that we sent you. Yeah, I did send you the poster. That's why we did. That's why we sketched you as Gloria. So, and obviously, like I said to you, there's so many of them. Feel free to keep some. You don't have to sign them all, but
Thank you. I will at least keep one for myself.
yeah,
sure.
you can keep more than one. Feel free.
Okay.
B, any questions? Any fun things you'd want to ask? I know you said something about somebody you like very much, and Danielle worked with.
Okay, I was gonna say you brought up Ghost of Mars, which reminds me that I'm a huge John Carpenter fan, so I really just want to know what it was like working with him.
I love him. So when I was talking about Batman being my first job, but I just ran out of the room. In my heart, my first job is John Carpenter's Vampires. So that technically was my third job, but it was really the first job where I got to really do stunts. And when I got called on that movie, I didn't even know what movie it was for. I was just like, "Are you sure you want to hire me? Because I'm really green and I don't know." And I showed up and I didn't even know what it was. And then John walks in the room and I realized, like, oh my gosh, I'm on a John Carpenter movie.
Oh man.
And I was so intimidated by him. Like, he can do this intimidating thing like really well. And then beyond so I'm in one of the first scenes. I'm the first vampire in John Carpenter's Vampires. The team comes in, they're going through the farmhouse, and then I'm hiding in the farmhouse, and I come out and I have this big fight and they can't kill me. I keep getting back up. And so we shot that whole thing and it went great. And then they were like, "Do you want to like stick around?" Because I was in so much makeup. They said, "We can put you in different makeup and make you look like somebody else." So I'm actually two characters in that movie. There's a scene in the motel where I'm one of like the hookers that gets killed. It's a smaller part, but I'm there twice. I got to stay with them for like 3 weeks and make friends with the whole team. And then John's next movie was Ghost of Mars, and he wanted Big Daddy Mars to, and all the followers to have like a certain movement, like a kind of tribal movement. And he knew I was a dancer, so he said, "Will you come and talk to me, and can we, talk about this movement?" So it was so cool. I got to go to his office and have like a one-on-one chat with him, and they do this certain like little, tribal movement that I choreographed that little bit. So
oh, you did?
I don't think I've ever talked about that before. And he was so kind to me and so sweet. And then I ended up on that movie. I think I was like 9 different characters. Because everyone was in so much makeup. I got to be so. I remember one time he was like, "Okay, Danielle, we got to put her in the back because she's like in every shot. I can't see Danielle anymore. Get her out of here." But he's been so good to me. After that, I had a book that came out called The Stunt Woman's Workout, and I asked him to write the foreword to the book, and he said yes. And he wrote such a beautiful thing for me, and I'm forever grateful. And yeah, and because that was like really in my heart, my first film, he's so super special to me. I love that man.
I love that. I'll have to read the book. That sounds so sweet.
Yeah.
His little
Yeah.
message. I love that you were intimidated by him at first, because it's like
I was so scared of him, and then I remember the day where he kind of like cracked a smile, and I went, "Oh my God, have you been like putting me on this whole time to make me scared of you?" Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
dear.
he's
he
intimidating.
definitely
He's John Carpenter, but he's
right.
a really lovely man.
That's the thing. Like it is John Carpenter. Like I've only met him once at a signing, and he was just he had like such a like soft like tone to him, and I'm just like, people are so intimidated by you, and you're just sitting here smiling, like being a pal. It's just such a funny juxtaposition of what people expect from him, and then what you
Yeah,
actually like hear of him.
yeah, you got the smiley guy right up front. That was great
Right.
because he's got both sides, but I think
he
deep down he's that guy.
he wasn't grumpy that day. Yeah.
He was really, I want to give him a hug right now. John, if
Aw.
you're out there,
John,
I
if you're
hug
listening.
you.
Yeah, we're gonna clip it just for John and then gonna spam him so he sees it.
Okay.
Somebody in the chat asking, because they probably didn't hear it, what's the title of a book? If you could repeat that.
Yeah, it's called The Stunt Woman's Workout. And I don't even know if you can find it out there, but I have boxes of them. So
How can we
actually, I wish
getting
I would
past
have thought of it earlier. I would have sent you a couple boxes to donate. If it's not too late to do that,
Oh
I
yeah,
can send
yeah.
you a box of books, and I'll sign them, and you can use them for
Oh yeah,
the charity.
that would be awesome. The more we have, the better. So there you go. If you donate, you can get a book signed by Danielle along with signed poster and some other goodies that we have in store for you. So hit that donate button. If you don't see donate button, it's in that small graphic saying homeless worldwide. And if you donate, you get one.
Yeah.
Let me.
I can share the link. Oh, you already did it.
Oh, perfect. That's brilliant. So yeah, hit that donate. We aiming to get at least 1,000 in near hour. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can reach that. We gonna have to slowly wrap up because we have Devil Never Cry really shortly. We actually already slightly slide it into his time, but I hope he doesn't mind. But yeah, there was one more question about Daredevil and your experience on that.
So cool. I mean, I still have to pinch myself sometimes that I've gotten to work on these, with these iconic characters, and I got to step into the shoes of Elektra. This was the movie with Ben Affleck and Colin Farrell. And there's a rooftop fight with Bullseye that, so I was actually the second unit double. Jennifer Garner's main double is Shauna Duggins, and she's been her double for years on Alias and all that. So she was the main double on Daredevil, but I was brought in to do second unit. And, a lot of times we shoot, a lot of the action scenes are shot on second unit. So I was really fortunate to get to do most of that last big rooftop fight that Elektra has with Bullseye. I think there's a couple little bits here and there in the movie that I also did, but that was kind of the bulk of it, getting tossed around and thrown around, and so much fun. Again, to work with these, these are characters that I've grown up with my whole life. So to get to be one of those characters, to get to, get beat up by Bullseye. I mean, Colin Farrell's not too bad either. So it was good. It was a lot of fun.
Just gonna.
Before we go, real quick, can I ask, what are some of the pictures you have behind you, if you don't mind?
Oh, yeah. What do I have? Oh, I have a picture of Trish up there.
I think I see it.
I'm gonna go grab it. Let's see. I've got these are kind of I'm still building my wall because I've just been redoing my place here. So I still have a lot more that I want to put up. But these are a lot of the, the big set pieces in my life. So there's a poster of vampires there because that was
I noticed
one
that
of my
one.
big first one. Starlight Express, because I was on Starlight Express on Broadway. That was a dream of mine to be on Broadway, and I did it. There's pictures from The Matrix up there with Keanu. There is a picture of me as Elektra from Daredevil. A few with David Copperfield. I used to tour with David Copperfield before I got into stunts. When I was a dancer,
Oh wow.
I was on tour as a magician assistant. I also have one with Cher. I did the American Music Awards when Cher performed "Believe," the song "Believe." I was the character. I wasn't the girl in the music video, but on the live stage version, I played the same character with the little short red bob hair from her big song "Believe." And then a couple from Army of the Dead, and one from, I used to host a series on TBS called Worst Case Scenario with Mike Rowe. And that was like another, like one of those sort of milestones in my career. So that's up there.
You've done so many different things, like hosting as well. Just so much.
Yeah.
Jack of all trades.
Yes, master of none.
No. Master of all.
Yes.
Somebody actually recently told me the end of that. So there's, we always hear Jack of all trades, master of none, but then there's this other phrase that goes after it that actually is makes me go, oh yeah, okay, good. And now I forgot what it is. So you'll have to look it up.
I've never heard that. Yeah, I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, never heard that either.
Yeah, but it's a good one. Whatever it is, it's a good one. Check it out.
Yeah, chat. You got a task to do. Find the line.
Exactly. Tell me what I'm talking about. Now I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
But yeah, that's all amazing, and honestly, we're so grateful to have you and share a laugh with you, because it's always.
It.
Oh,
you did? Okay, what is it?
Okay, it's Jack of all trades, master of none, though oftentimes better than master of one.
There you go.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Honestly, brilliant. And we're so grateful to have you with us. And honestly, my cheeks are starting to hurt because I'm smiling all the time, and I can see Rundi.
Me too. I'm smiling, and I just want to say thank you for having me, because we were talking about it a little bit before. But I feel like the whole reason that I do it, I think the whole reason that anybody makes movies, games, whatever kind of entertainment, it's all for the audience, it's all for the fans. So the fact that you guys are here, the fact that you are fans of this game, the fact that you showed up to listen to me ramble on, like, I'm so grateful. For me, it's what it's all about. I love interacting with the community. So feel free to reach out to me anyway. I'm pretty easy to find out there. And yeah, I'm very grateful. So thanks for having me.
Thank you for being part of the community.
Yes. And yes, we always have a way to reach to you, and and especially that we do plan on making these more often, like a yearly at least. So you can expect an email at least once a year from us.
Good. Well, I will be here as long as I'm not working with Dan in Bulgaria.
No, next time if you are, bring him.
Yes.
And then we can do like a double interview.
Yeah, just send him a text saying, "Yeah, I'm having fun," and you not.
Yeah. Dragon.
Okay, so if you have anything to say, Danielle, it's your 5 minutes. Go for it. Whatever you want to say it out loud.
You know what? I will just say, if you take anything away from this, then just know that you are more powerful than you realize. Like, whatever it is that you dream of, like, go for it. Be yourself unapologetically. Say yes to the universe, and have fun playing.
And I'm gonna quote you. I'm gonna quote you and jump off the plane.
Make sure you're wearing a parachute.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Danielle.
I don't want to be responsible for anybody getting splatted.
Oh dear. Oh, my ribs starting to hurt out of all the laughs we just had. But again, thank you very much, Danielle.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
honestly, you are the best. Honestly, you're the best.
Thank
So
you.
have
Fun
afternoon. Hope you can enjoy and relax and do not a lot.
Friday at 4:30 here, so
yeah,
it's just weekend.
It's just midnight here in the UK.
Oh,
so but we're running 24/7, so no big deal.
All right,
we can survive it. We can survive it.
All for the good cause, and I hope you raise thousands and thousands and tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands,
fingers crossed,
hundreds of thousands.
You heard that, everyone.
I will send you. We'll talk, and I'll send you. I'll figure out where to send those books. But I will.
Okay. We'll
figure it out later.
Yes, exactly. I know where to find you. I know where to find you. Good. Thank you again, very, very much. And
thank you. Good night. Good morning. Good afternoon. Wherever you guys are. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and take care. Bye bye.
Okay.
Devil May Cry.